Nina sits on her bed, looking at her phone. Her room is dim, illuminated only by a bedside lamp casting a soft glow over her tear-streaked face. In her hand is her phone, open to Tunde's contact page, and she fights the urge to call him one last time. Memories flood her mind, the late-night talks, shared dreams, and plans for a future together. They'd met at university, and for years, Tunde had been her rock, her confidant. She had envisioned a life with him, a home, children. Now, it all seemed like a cruel illusion. Tunde's betrayal is still fresh. The image of him with another woman, laughing and holding her hand, has been seared into her mind since that day. She feels the sting of humiliation and anger, wondering how she could have been so blind. They had planned a life together, or at least she had thought so. It's a combination of love, hurt, and anger that keeps her awake at night, replaying what went wrong. Nina's friends, Amaka and Bola, have seen her go through the motions of heartbreak. Today, they meet her at a cozy cafe, determined to cheer her up. They order Nina's favorite cappuccino, and as they sit down, Nina feels a pang of comfort but also sadness. This is where she and Tunde would come every Saturday, sharing laughter and endless conversations. Amaka leans in, her tone gentle. "Nina, I know it hurts, but maybe he wasn't the one for you. If he could betray you so easily, he's not the man you deserve." Bola nods in agreement, placing a comforting hand on Nina's arm. "You have to let go of what happened. It's okay to feel hurt, but you can't let this define you." Nina tries to smile, appreciating her friend's efforts, but she knows it will take time. As they talk, she begins to feel a bit lighter. Her friends remind her of her own strength, her goals, and the independence she had before Tunde. For the first time in weeks, she entertains the idea that perhaps this chapter in her life could lead to something better. After her meeting with friends, Nina decides to attend a networking event she'd been invited to. She hesitates, knowing it's bound to be filled with people who knew her as Tunde's girlfriend. Still, she steels herself, telling herself that she needs to start reclaiming her own life. At the event, Nina notices an elegant older man standing alone, looking out over the cityscape from a balcony. It's Chief Adewale, a well-known businessman in Lagos and, incidentally, Tunde's father. He's dressed sharply, radiating the same charisma and poise that once attracted her to Tunde. Chief Adewale catches her gaze and offers a warm smile, one that surprises her. She expected him to avoid her out of loyalty to his son, but instead he seems genuinely pleased to see her. Nina walks over, half expecting an awkward exchange, but Chief Adewale greets her kindly. "Nina, it's been a while. I hope you've been well," he says, his voice warm and inviting. Nina feels the knot in her chest loosen. She senses no judgment from him, only kindness. They chat about the event, avoiding any mention of Tunde. Chief Adewale shares stories of his own life and work, surprising her with his humor and wisdom. He even shares a bit about the mistakes he's made in life and the importance of resilience, a message that seems meant for her. Nina finds herself laughing and relaxing, even though she hadn't expected to enjoy herself. As the evening draws to a close, Chief Adewale touches her arm gently and says, "Remember, Nina, heartbreaks can be blessings in disguise. Don't let it make you forget who you are." Back in her room that night, Nina replays her conversation with Chief Adewale in her mind. His words of encouragement, his calm assurance, it's something she hadn't realized she needed. For the first time, she feels a glimmer of hope, as though maybe, just maybe, this heartbreak won't define her. The next morning, she makes a decision to let go of Tunde, to try moving forward. She deletes his contact information from her phone and decides to focus on herself, to rebuild. Though she's unsure of what the future holds, she knows that she's taken the first step toward healing. A few days after their first conversation, Nina attends another social event, a fundraiser organized by her workplace. Still feeling the sting of heartbreak, she hopes the event will be a good distraction. She is mingling and politely chatting with colleagues when she spots Chief Adewale across the room. He's speaking with several influential guests, but he seems to notice her immediately, his eyes lighting up in recognition. Feeling unexpectedly glad to see a familiar face, Nina heads over. Chief Adewale greets her warmly, the tension from their previous encounter nowhere to be found. They discuss the event, then shift to more personal topics. Chief Adewale mentions how much he respects the organization she works for, surprising her with his knowledge of her work. "You're doing something meaningful, Nina," he says, his tone sincere. "I know how hard that can be in a city like Lagos." Nina finds herself opening up, sharing her aspirations and how much she struggled to reach this point in her career. Tunde rarely listen like this, and she realizes she appreciates Chief Adewale's attentiveness and encouragement. By the end of the evening, Nina feels unexpectedly uplifted, not just because of the conversation but because she's finally starting to remember who she is outside of the breakup. The following week, Nina is at a trendy cafe near her workplace, taking a much-needed break from her busy day. She orders her coffee and settles down to read, only to hear a familiar voice. "Good afternoon, Nina," Chief Adewale greets her, smiling as he approaches her table. He's dressed impeccably in a suit, clearly on his way to a business meeting, but he seems genuinely happy to see her. "Chief Adewale, I wasn't expecting to see you here," Nina replies, a little surprised but genuinely pleased. They share a quick laugh at the coincidence, and Chief Adewale suggests joining her for a few minutes. They chat casually about books, travel, and life goals. She learns that he enjoys poetry and often finds solace in it. He even quotes a line from Wole Soyinka that strikes a chord with her, and they discuss the beauty and complexity of Nigerian literature. Their conversation is unexpectedly profound, and she feels a strange connection to him, not as her ex-boyfriend's father, but as someone who understands her. When he excuses himself for his meeting, Nina realizes she's looking forward to their next encounter, though she knows she shouldn't be. She reminds herself that he's just a friend, a father figure even, but she can't deny there's something intriguing in their exchanges. A few days later, Nina attends a small art exhibit that a mutual friend invited her to. She's admiring a painting, lost in her thoughts, when Chief Adewale arrives. Seeing her alone, he makes his way over, and they begin discussing the artwork. Chief Adewale is knowledgeable and passionate about art, sharing his views with a depth that surprises her. They move through the gallery, conversing quietly. Chief Adewale confides that he's always admired people who find ways to express themselves, particularly artists. "Sometimes, I think artists have a courage that people like me can never have. They expose everything, open themselves up to the world," he says, his tone introspective. Nina realizes she's seeing a more vulnerable side of him, and it makes her feel safe. For the first time in a while, she feels genuinely comfortable around someone. They share a quiet moment of understanding, and it's in that silence that Nina begins to feel something she hadn't anticipated, a connection that goes beyond mere friendship. Later that evening, as the event wraps up, a soft jazz tune plays over the speakers, and some couples move to the dance floor. Chief Adewale offers his hand to Nina, a playful smile on his face. "Would you care to dance?" Surprised but flattered, Nina accepts. They move to the floor, and as he leads her in the gentle rhythm, she feels her worries melting away. She hadn't expected the ease of dancing with him, his presence comforting and warm. She feels a flicker of something deeper, something she tries to push away. "You're a good dancer, Chief Adewale," she teases lightly, trying to keep the mood light. He laughs. "Well, my dancing days are long past, but for you, I'm happy to try." They share a laugh, and as they sway to the music, Nina realizes that she hasn't felt this alive in months. When the dance ends, they both seem reluctant to let go, lingering in each other's presence. But soon, reality seeps back in, and they step apart. As she heads home that evening, she wonders why her heart feels so full yet so conflicted. She knows Chief Adewale is just a friend, an older mentor who has been kind to her. But there's a small voice in her heart, whispering that perhaps these meetings weren't coincidences but something far more complicated. Back at home, Nina wrestles with her emotions. She's grateful for Chief Adewale's kindness, but she knows there's more than simple gratitude stirring within her. She tries to convince herself that she's just lonely and that he's providing a friendship she's needed since her breakup with Tunde. However, deep down, she knows the truth. Chief Adewale isn't just filling a void, he's inspiring her, challenging her, and making her feel seen in ways that Tunde never did. The thought scares her, but it also excites her. She knows this new connection could mean risking her heart once again, but she's not sure if she's ready or even if it's the right thing to do. In that moment, she resolves to keep things platonic, determined not to let her heart lead her into more complicated territory. But a part of her knows that this is easier said than done, and that their unlikely encounters may be destined for something deeper. Watch out for part 2, Pregnant for My Ex's Dad. Please support my channel by sharing my videos to your families, friends, and loved ones. Kindly subscribe, like, comment on your notification button to get notified when I upload the next video. Thanks.